Howdy folks, Jim again. Wanted to share something with you. I had this picture in my mind. I don't know if you've ever fed hogs before. Feeding hogs. Now, let me tell you what I got a picture of. We had these hogs growing up, and we had a trough built, and we'd come pour the slop down there, and the hogs would come and get all in there and eat the slop. And I got to thinking, that's us watching the news. Here we come like fat hogs, hungry to get the latest slop that these crazy people pour out to us. I was just thinking on that of how corrupt, how much propaganda the whole thing is, and us eating it up. You know, in today's technology, there's a lot of independent people out there who bring news that are actually there. They're not bought off by Republicans or Democrats or special interests. They're just there to tell you the way it is. And it's amazing to me that the big corporations want to stamp that out. It just kind of blows my mind. The Joe Rogan, I don't agree with all of his politics. Well, I never met the guy, but it's supposed to be a free country, free speech, and then they want to cancel him. Kind of blows my mind. You know, think about if there wasn't any parties. You realize that if you wanted to run for president, you have to be either a Republican or a Democrat. And I tell you what, I don't care for either one of them. They're all, you know, some people, they may get elected, they may go in there with a good agenda and mean well. They go in there and either they play by their big party's rules, or they get blackmailed, they get primaried, they get put out. You know, the Republicans gerrymander, the Democrats gerrymander, changing district, everything to win this power. But if you wanted to come in and try to run for president, you can. I mean, they may say you can, but unless you play by their rules, no sir, you cannot. And you know, even at the local level here, I just spouting off here a little bit this morning. You know, I've been a member of a union, I won't say which one, for 30 years. And we got some of the highest dues there is with no representation. I was just listening to the Slop there a minute ago about how they want more high-paying union jobs. Let me tell you what, unions are a stinking scam too. They may have started off good and had good intentions, but they've been corrupted just like the rest of them. I always wonder this, why do we pay such high dues, get no representation? Why do they have to have their committee meetings in Las Vegas? Why don't they come to Richlands and stay in the Super 8? No, they got to go to Vegas. And you know, I talked to our local guys and I said, well, heck with them. Let's just vote them out and we'll get some local people in. Well, guess what? The system is rigged there too. You can't do that. You got to go through there. You got to be put on their special committees and have a special selection to even be on the ballots. Imagine that. The whole system is rigged, so they'll put on the ballots who they want, just like our politicians do. And here we are, like hogs, coming to get the slop that they feed us. I'm tired of the slop. I'm tired of the slop. And you know, just the, you know, when I speak on it sounds like I'm un-American. I'm not un-American. You know, I have learned through the years, I personally have never met a Russian. I wonder why I was trained to hate a Russian. I met one lady who was a Russian a long time ago. She was a Russian Jew, and her parents, and there's a little baby, she went through the Holocaust. She was telling me stories about it. One of the nicest ladies I ever met in my life. Couldn't believe it. We're just taught to hate all these other cultures. I mean, if they don't look like us and act like us, then we're taught to hate them. Pour the slop to the pigs. Pouring the slop to the pigs. And we eat it up. You know, I hope in Ukraine, I pray that there's not a war over there. I don't know any Ukrainians. I don't know any Russians. I hope there's peace over there. I hate it that a few politicians cost millions of lives, but that's the way the governments have done. Wouldn't it be wonderful if it was like, you remember David and Goliath? Instead of having whole armies fight, let's get the two out there. How about we have Biden and Putin square off in the ring and, beat each other to a pulp, and whoever the winner is, there it'll be. I would say we'd all be speaking Russian. But anyway, I'm for peace. I'm for peace. We don't need to be over there. All of this stuff over natural, they all live in fear. And that's why fear, jealousy, that's why we have wars and strife. Go read the book of James. You'll see why we have all those things. But anyway, I won't keep you long this morning. I want you to realize when you're sitting down there to the news, I don't care if it's Fox or CNN, it's all slop to the hogs. It's all political bias propaganda to keep us divided. We are Americans. And anybody ought to be able to run. Anybody, this is supposed to be freedom, right? Ought to be able to run for president. You ought to be able to run for president. And not be a Republican and not be a Democrat. I pray those parties go by the wayside. I look for the day when there's no more parties. And you can vote and pray about your vote and put in who you want. And it'd be legal. All this nonsense. Let me give you a verse. I always got to give you a verse. Here is the three Hebrew children with their Chaldean, Babylonian names, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They don't bow down, they get thrown in the fiery furnace. I know you've all heard that story before, but this little verse kind of jumped out at me. Now think about this. The king is mad. The people is mad because they won't bow down, they won't play by the rules, and they throw them in the fire. Well, you guys know the story. They threw 3 in the fire. They didn't even get to close, didn't even smell like smoke. They saw 4 in there, and the other one was one like it to the Son of Man. It was the Lord himself was in there. But here's the verse. This is in Daniel chapter 3, verse 22. And remember this, and we're watching it play out. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, we got to do it now. And the furnace exceeding hot, remember he said heat it 7 times hotter. The flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The very men that threw them in the fire was consumed by their own fire that they had started. Think on that. All this propaganda, all this slop, they'll be made to drink from their own cup. Think about that. God bless you all.